Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Howdy, y'all, or maybe I should say howdy, all y'all. Expression here in Texas, all y'all means just everybody out there. So, but we're here on Talking Heads. I'm red.olaughlin, and we are with the USA Global TV and Radio Network. We're with the E360 TV Network. We're at Roku. We're at Amazon Fire, and several new things planned coming up. It's amazing how fast, just in 2024, this network has grown. I mean, I've been with it over a couple of years, and I've just seen amazing changes, and the things I'm hearing about are continuing to amaze me. So let's go ahead and get lined up. First slide up here and ready to go. Okay. Disclaimer, I'm a researcher. I've never been in the medical field, never been in the pharmaceutical field, but I fell in love with chemistry at a very young age, high school, and I got my first degree in it, and I got several other degrees, but not in chemistry. I have 5 academic degrees in totally different subjects. Anyway, but when I look at the human body from a researcher perspective, I'm looking at the cellular level. I want to find out what causes things to happen. If I'm looking at inside the cell, well, there's certain things going on inside that cell from a chemical perspective. This causes that. This speeds it up. This slows it down. And so when I'm looking at things, I'm looking for causes. That's what I want to be able to suggest. Somebody say, hey, do this and you'll fix a problem. But if you don't even know what the cause is and all you're doing is continuing to put a Band-Aid on something that's bleeding, you're never fixing the cause, but you're just treating the symptoms. And most of the time our bodies are pretty good and they kind of heal by themselves. But what if the body is not healing itself at the level, the root cause level? You're just hiding the underlying cause through the symptoms. And as always, this presentation is primarily for awareness and education. Okay. S.T.E.M, S.T.E.M. I've mentioned this before, but I saw this acronym somewhere after the first of the year, and it usually is science, technology, engineering, and math. And I was thinking to myself, how can I, and this is one of the programs I have a problem with, is what do I want to do for the next show? Well, I know what I'm going to do to close out the S.T.E.M, but right now I'm also faced with what is going to be the next topic to talk about. And I'm kind of muddling that through my mind now. I have a couple of different subjects that I think would be of good interest. But, we talk about in the very beginning of the show that this is a world-class uh, show for education and inspiration. And so I'm trying to find things that will help us. So with S.T.E.M, I want to know from a stress, toxins, emotions, and mental, how do they affect our physical health and our longevity? Now we hear about emotional health and mental health, and they're not really the same. They have psychological differences. Mental health is basically, we're talking about the overall mental well-being, and that includes our ability to think, make good decisions, uh, manage situations. Emotional health is related to our ability to manage our moods and feelings. So a slightly different take on what we're looking at, but a lot of interweaving of everything there. So when we look at mental health, we're really looking at our abilities. How do we cope with normal stress, everyday work, productivity? How do we contribute to our community? And this includes our social well-being, our emotional and psychological aspects. But when I look at it, there's really four things. I mean, there's a lot more than four, but I'm looking at, if I have a mental health problem, what am I probably going to see? What am I going to feel? What can somebody do to help me assess, am I having a problem? Or can they see me and say, hey, I think you need to go see someone? So I broke it down into four basic areas: our mood, our behaviors, our thoughts, and our feelings. Again, this is a very simple way of looking at it. So let's look at changes in mood. How do I measure? How do I even know I have a change in mood? Well, one of the ways is talking more slowly than normal. Uh, I talk rapidly. I really have to slow down. I got big letters here, slow down, on my paper that I look at periodically that tells me I have to slow down for the presentation. But from somebody who doesn't have a program that they're putting on TV and for another audience, if somebody's talking slower than normal, they're feeling sad. Maybe they have a feeling of hopelessness or worthlessness. You know, they have trouble sleeping. That in itself is a big key. You're having a problem. You're probably going to see it in your sleeping. You're probably going to see it in your diet. You get too much sleep, too little sleep, gain weight, appetite's crazy, fatigued, trouble concentrating. These are all things that add up into the big scheme of things into mood. Probably another major one that's very, very evident is that you love to do something, and now all of a sudden you have no interest in it anymore. That's a clue. So I would say, if I'm looking at things, if you love to do something and you're not doing it anymore, if you have weight gain, you're tired all the time, fatigued, yeah, you probably have a change in mood. And that could be caused by a variety of things. But if it's long term, more than a couple of weeks, yeah, that's an issue. So how do I look at measuring changes in behavior? Well, body language. If I'm agitated, I get a little bit of the shakes, red faced, uh, sweaty, difficulty with focusing, my eyes on the topic, raise my voice for no reason, increase my alcohol content, drugs, smoking, uh, being a little detached. We're looking at behavior. So, and the changes that we are emanating are not changes to make us better. Uh, if I want to go into the third category, thoughts. How do I know I have a problem? How can I measure a change in my ability to think? Well, am I paying attention to my emotions? If I have a negative thought, do I know what caused it? If I don't know, maybe I have a problem. But if I do know, okay, fine, I lost my aunt. I understand she's one of my we know a reason for that. You lost your job, had a fight with your wife. Uh, there are lots of reasons why we have emotional up and down. But if we can't connect it to something, now we start having a potential issue to look at. Am I looking at something as a new pattern to respond to things, or is it a habit that maybe I'm just temporarily doing? Um, if I'm focusing primarily on the worst case scenario, that's a clue. If I have confusing thoughts, in other words, I can't concentrate well, these have a tendency over time when I'm looking at negative issues, self-worth. Now I'm starting having thoughts, and those thoughts can increase our risk of suicide. Last one, feelings, not the song, but changes in feelings, our mood swings. And again, we're talking about something lasting more than 2 weeks, our anxiety level, our depression. Do I have a problem? My sleep, my diet? Did I lose my appetite? Am I overeating? Am I edgy? Uh, you're feeling hopeless. You can't make any change. You have no control over everything. Uh, Difficult remembering is a primary one. Again, we're back to the lack of enjoyment. But we also have physical emanations. We have body aches and pains, cramps, digestive problems. All of these things are tied in to our overall level of mental health. And again, we're looking at something that's lasting more than a couple of weeks. If I were to say, well, what are some of the overall overarching traits that I really should be aware of when I'm looking at mental health decline? In other words, I'm actually slipping back from whatever reason. Well, if I have a sudden change in behavior or mood, if I start taking up something that could be harming myself, uh, not showing up on time, not doing the work that I'm supposed to be doing, whether you're academic or at work or at home, changes in social habits, sleep and appetite, withdrawal, uh, a big key right there. You're just not in with everything. Unreasonable anger. We have a tendency to get angry at various things, but sometimes it's reasonable, justified, but other times you're just off the handle. Well, what caused that? Again, these are traits, not necessarily definitive, but you put enough of them together, and somebody might be able to say, hey, probably need to see someone. Another one is hearing voices. Um, the more intense signs, the ones I gave you are the bottom level baseline, but sometimes it gets to a level higher than what I think that person really has a problem. Now we're talking about delusions, detachment from reality, paranoia. Our ability to cope is worthless. We can't. We start getting involved with abusing drugs, alcohol, overeating, personal hygiene, not taking a shower, not shaving, wearing dirty clothes, all of those things in personal hygiene, brushing your teeth. Now, they may be caused by bereavement, long-term stress, long-term health issues. Again, we can tie it to a particular cause. Okay, we recognize bereavement. That may take us a year to get over, 6 months, maybe longer. Everyone is different. Long-term stress, what is the stress? What can you do? Long-term health issue, I was super happy to hear recently one of my neighbors had long COVID for over a year and a half. All of a sudden, he woke up about a month ago and boom, he's back to normal. So long-term health issues can be a major a major symptom of mental health issues. But again, if you're understanding where it's coming from, you can deal with it a little bit easier. So decline in mental health can happen anytime. It usually starts earlier than later. So if I'm down in the teenage years, maybe preteen, versus I'm retired, I'm going to find a lot more mental problems in that under 20 than over 60 category. Now, a lot of these mental health issues can be temporary or long-term. The case of bereavement, the case of losing a job, a case of having a COVID, long COVID. A lot of things there can be an issue. You get a new boss, you can't find a new job. There's just a lot of things out there that can be temporary and long-term. And you can have more than one mental health problem or disorder at a time. We can have depression, we can have anxiety, you have bipolar, PTSD, schizophrenia, eating disorders, and they're really a major health issue, mental health issue. Disruptive behavior, obsessive compulsive, OCD, ADHD, hyperactivity. lots and lots and lots of these little categories in that general term of mental health. And we can have 2 or 3 or 4 of them all at one time. So you might ask the question, well, how do you test for mental health? Well, there's a standard, you go into the doctor and say, my son, my daughter, whatever. The standard physical exam, questionnaire, family history. They want to know, does somebody else in the family have issues like this? And that's critical because a lot of things are passed down through the family tree. And just because something is genetic doesn't necessarily mean you automatically will have it. There are some typical laboratory tests that are done, some verbal and psychological tests, but they want to rule out, number one, is there a physical cause of the problem? Once they can rule out the physical aspect of it, now you can hone in on whatever else is there. But if you just go into Google and you say, I want to know self-test for mental health, there's more of them there than you can count. And you can take, if you're going to take a test, take the test at different times during the day. You get up in the morning, middle of the day, before you go to bed, because you're going to get different results depending on what the stresses are at that particular time in the day. So I would strongly recommend, if you go that way, say, hey, doc, I did this, here are the results. I took it, 15 times over the last 2 weeks. And these are the times I took it. So keep a journal of what you're doing. That way, doctors can take a good look at what you have in order to help you, or a mental health professional. So if I look at mental disorders and my overall health, what kinds of problems can I look forward to? Not necessarily look forward to, but expect. Depression has a higher risk of chronic health issues, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, immune system dysfunction. Depression can cause a lot of problems. It also affects our emotional health. If we have persistent feelings of sadness, loss of pleasure. Again, we used to love to do something. We don't love it anymore for whatever reason. We can't figure out why. Increased risk of impaired relationships, whether you're dating, whether you're married, whether you just have siblings. If you are consistently sad and you're depressed, relationships are probably going to be noticeable by a lot of people. Decline in performance. We talked about not showing up on time for work, not completing homework in school, a reduced quality of life, overall feeling of hopelessness, a lot of issues there. And again, this is generically what we're talking about. So if it's something that you see in somebody, something you're feeling yourself, might be worth a little bit more look at. Now, I think I had to talk to my wife last week after one. I'm not changing my perspective on things because I'm not going to tell you must do this. I don't think that. We're talking about helping somebody's education, their awareness, inspiring somebody to take the right action. And to do that, the awareness and the education allows you to talk better to your professional help than just by saying, well, I haven't felt good. I've just been tired all the time. Well, how long? Well, here's my journal for the last 3 months, whatever. So depression affects longevity, chronic health issues, higher risk of suicide. And so when I'm looking at depression, it affects my physical health, my emotional health, and my longevity. Anxiety disorders, physical health. So I end up immediately with increased levels of hormones. And so that increases my risk of cardiovascular disease, gastrointestinal problems, immune system dysfunction. When I start stressing out and getting imbalances in my hormones, lots and lots and lots of issues come up from a health perspective. It affects our emotional health because we end up with excessive worrying, excessive fear, excessive apprehension, and it interferes with our normal body functions. We see increased distress in just about anything we're doing. And the effects on longevity from anxiety disorders aren't near the same as they are with depression, but there are some health problems that can affect longevity based on anxiety. Bipolar definitely has an effect on our physical health. We see sleep disruptions, appetite, two of the things I said earlier. If you have a problem with sleeping, a problem with diet, a problem with doing the things that you used to do and not doing them, there's something going on. How long is that going to last? So increased risk of impulsive behaviors, abuse, whether it's smoking, alcohol, drugs, Uh, Bipolar also affects your emotional health primarily because of the mood swings and to the people that you love or the people that you have a relationship with. And these could be coworkers, your boss, your wife, your kids, your church, a lot of things in there. Those mood swings are going to be seen. And if it's not normal, some people have mood swings that can be considered normal, but most of the time they're not. And again, our normal body functions, there's going to be issues there. Yes, bipolar can affect longevity because of the increased risk of suicide, primarily more than anything else. It's interesting how the mental health, not every single one of the disorders has an increased risk of suicide, but there's enough of them in there that have it, that if you have multiple issues with mental health, suicide is something to actually be seriously concerned about. It affects schizophrenia is another one. How does it affect our physical health? Well, we usually see a higher risk of smoking, substance abuse, poor lifestyle choices. Our habits have changed. We're no longer eating on time or eating as much as we used to. Increased risk of cardiovascular disease and many more. It's just one of many. Schizophrenia affects our emotional health primarily through our thought process. It disturbs everything, our perceptions. We have issues and it shows in our behavior. We may have hallucinations, delusions, a lot of withdrawal, some serious relationship issues. Our emotional well-being is not in the range of even being considered to be normal. So schizophrenia is one of those more serious ones. It affects longevity, it reduces our life expectancy, again, by suicide, but it also increases our risk of accidents. If I'm out driving around or even just walking, getting lost, a lot of things can happen from an accident. Working in the house, leaving the stove on, cutting yourself. A lot of things can be increased with schizophrenia. We've heard the term comorbidities with the COVID pandemic. A lot more medical comorbidities exist, or the risk of them existing when you have schizophrenia. I wasn't aware of some of the things with regard to eating disorders. Most of us think about various types of things, but from a mental health perspective, I was surprised at exactly what is going on when I'm looking at eating disorders and how they affect my physical health. And so I'm looking at severe nutritional deficiencies, electrolyte imbalances, gastrointestinal complications, and damage to vital organs. So if I'm not looking at anything else and I have a problem with my eating and I'm super thin, there's probably a door that needs to be opened to say, hey, let's get some tests, because the things that can happen from a nutritional perspective can cause a serious health problem down the road. If I'm looking at how does it affect my emotional health? If I have a distorted view of my body image, I think I'm fat, but I'm not. I'm actually thin. I have a preoccupation with food, with weight, body shape. Those are things that other people can see easily, but we see the same thing, but we interpret it different. Our perception of our body shape is an issue. We end up with low self-esteem. We have feelings of shame and guilt. And these things are big, big, big issues in the world of mental health. They may not manifest themselves all at one time, but over time, you're going to see a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And probably the number one thing that popped out for me was eating disorders has one of the highest mortality rates among all of the psychiatric disorders. I saw that and I said, whoa, that's kind of interesting, because that's not something that we read about. That's not something that we hear about in the big scheme of things. And we talk about the different kinds of eating problems, bulimia, and there's many of them. But if there is an eating disorder, definitely a potential mental health problem developing, and something that probably should be seriously looked at. So, the other part of eating disorders that affect our longevity is our increased need, our increased risk of medical complications, cardiac arrhythmias, organ failure. You're not getting the nutrition, the imbalances in electrolytes, increased risk of suicide. Again, your self-perception of what you look like, how you feel, worthless, you don't need to be here. All those things are being added on to the scale and tipping it more in the direction of having a more serious mental health issue. So from that perspective, I think that's the last slide I have today. Yes. And with that, I plan on going next week into the causes and what you can do. And then hopefully that's the last slide I have. And I'm giving a lot of thought to probably doing a program on nutrition in general. That's something I've never done. I've talked about it a lot, but never actually gone into the details of what is really required. And if you're missing it, what risk do you have? But if you want to see any of the archives on Talking Heads, USA Global TV, place there on YouTube, go to the playlist, Talking Heads, look for my name. And I have all sorts of programs that I've done in the past on stress and toxins, cancer, longevity, many things. So I would suggest if there's something in there that you want to know more about, stress or cancer, lifestyle, fat management, for instance, that's a topic that most people don't talk about. But anyway, go there and look it up. And with that, I'm going to conclude today and look forward to concluding this whole thing next week. So take care, y'all. Bye now.
Women of the Caribbean and around the world, are you tired of the status quo? Tired of barely making ends meet? Tired of giving maximum effort for minimum results? Are you in need of change, a fresh start, a new outlook, a new perspective? It's time to break through. Join us along with women from around the world at the Empower Her Escape, a 5-day all-inclusive royal cruise to the Bahamas and Florida. Connect with world leaders and influencers and begin afresh your journey to more. Hear dynamic speakers with sessions on women in leadership, the importance of mentorship, how to start a business from the ground up, financial literacy, an integrated approach to wellness and wholeness, and so much more. Guest speakers include First Lady Anne-Marie Davis of the Bahamas, Her Royal Highness Katerina of Yugoslavia Lady de Silva, Her Royal Highness Queen Sekothali Mepena of South Africa, and Coach Max, Global Multi-Six-Figure Wealth Coach. Cruise packages include 2 nights at an all-exclusive resort, gratuities, taxes, and port fees, red carpet welcome and extravaganza, course materials, and a souvenir gift bag, flight not included. The Empower Her Escape Cruise takes place on May 15th through the 19th, 2024, departing from the port of Palm Beach, Riviera Beach, Florida. Hosts for this life-changing event are Coach Cherish Hollingsworth of Florida and Coach Mercy Gilbert of the UK. For more information, visit our website at www.empowerherroyalescape.com or call us at 954-203-6608 or email us at cherishresiliencecoach@gmail.com. Connect, collaborate, celebrate at the Empower Her Escape Cruise.
This program is brought to you in part by the British School of Excellence and founder, Mr. Philip Sykes, building confidence, changing lives. Do you share our view that etiquette is a set of modern life skills that are essential for personal and professional success? Join us as an etiquette coach and change people's lives through the power of etiquette and manners.
The last few days have been really amazing. I had a trainer course from the British School of Etiquette.
And I must say it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made and one of the best investments I've made in my own training and development.
Now, words alone will not describe the transformation and the positive path that I have traveled with the British School of Etiquette.
I found I learned a lot from the lessons this time I came.
The last few days with the British School of Etiquette have been fantastic.
And what I've learned now is really beyond my expectations.
This is the most rewarding experience and the best investment I have made this year.
It was just great. I learned so much, and when I go back to Belgium I will incorporate a lot of it into my day-to-day life and business.
It's been absolutely wonderful for the whole week that we were here.
I feel transformed, and I feel like blowing a trumpet and tell people, come and do this school, this class is the best, this is the best school ever.
You should take it. It's just it will change your life immediately.
I am now able to teach other people how to bring the best of them.
Thank you.
Thank you, BSC.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to our clients for their testimonials on the Train the Trainer program. Our exponential and global growth is so significant that we've evolved from the British School of Etiquette to the British School of Excellence, where we're investors in people. Let us invest in you and your career. Contact us to become an etiquette coach. Go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. Start your career and elevate your success today.
Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, President, Founder, and Chief Listening Officer of USA Global TV and Radio. She is a certified life, career, and executive coach. Dr. Jacqueline is the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Behind the Green Screen and Adversity to Awesome. As the listening mentor, she teaches children and their families how to listen at an elevated level through the book series titled The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor. The Creative Hearts Awakening book series features heart-centric creatives who share their awakening journey. Through the Power of Listening educational course platform, people can get certified as elevated listeners on USA Global TV and Radio. Learn how to center yourself and align with nature through the power of nature, plants, and shrines. The Journey of Chakra Psychology course will educate you on the chakras and their meaning. The Intuition of the Heart course will help you understand how to trust your intuition. Learn how to face the shadows of self and understand the impact of following trends and materialism. Set boundaries and ask for permission to help establish better relationships, deeper connections, and more authentic conversations. Take your communication expertise to a higher level with the course for curious humans. After all, we are not robots. Looking to start your own podcast platform? Get everything you need in the Podcaster Pro package with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. How can music, breath, and your voice set you free? Find out with the Power of Listening courses. Dr. Jacqueline is a certified meditation teacher, yoga instructor, and Juice Plus distributor. She will help you create a plan for your healthy lifestyle. As an expert in the art of interviewing with over 3,000 hosted and/or produced live broadcasts, Dr. Kerbeck helps her clients stand out as global broadcasters. Dr. Kerbeck's books are available on Amazon. Start your listening journey by reading. Tune into the Listening Mentor TV show, Fridays on USA Global TV, and learn how listening can be your superpower. Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, MBA, DBA, Certified Holistic Life, Career, and Executive Coach, Certified Yoga Sculpt Teacher, Certified Meditation Teacher, The Listening Mentor, Singer-Songwriter, Founder, President, Chief Listening Officer of USA Global TV and Radio. drjacqueline.com. Thank you to all our elevated listeners, team members, animal characters, and co-authors. Contact us at 215-852-9406. Jacqueline at drjacqueline.com.
Hello everyone, I'm Simon MacDonald. I live in the West Highlands of Scotland, a very beautiful part of the world. Seems a long way from the USA Global TV station. But remember, USA Global TV is worldwide. It's a fantastic platform. And every Wednesday, I come along here as part of the show of the United Kingdom, News and Culture. And it's just like a family reunion each time. It's one of these amazing stations that has such a beautiful, friendly, and intelligent atmosphere as well. And we reach out to an audience in the most unimaginable places. And I came here, I don't know, must be over a year ago now. I was introduced by Dr. Philip Chan, and I met Ian Plum-Turner and Helena Chard, who are co-presenters on the show. And then Diane Floyd-Bem came along as well. And I mean, the five of us, Dr. Jacqueline, of course, who is our host and our mentor, has just made this show work so well. Tremendous people, lovely time we have, and we impart a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. Nothing's rehearsed. It's all done off the cuff, and it all just gels. And we get great feedback from people coming back and saying how they're enjoying the show. It's lovely to hear, and it's lovely to get that interaction from outside as well. And we're all listeners, and some of us are elevated listeners as well. So we enjoy every second of it, and we hope you do too.
Meet Lady Ella, a special ladybug who is trained by Grand Beetle on how to listen at an elevated level. After earning her gold wings, Mother Earth and Father Universe asked her to travel across the solar system, teaching life lessons to creatures to respect one another and to listen. Learn more about her travels in the book series, The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella. The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor. Lady Ella's ABCs of Listening. Lady Ella has afternoon tea in London. The ocean calls and Lady Ella listens. Lady Ella listens in the Baobab National Game Park. Lady Ella's space adventure across the universe. The magical adventures of Lady Ella and her super-powered friends. There are also collections of colouring books for parents and kids. providing world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Join our team of elevated listeners to teach children elevated listening skills. Lady Ella would like to teach you and your family how to listen at an elevated level. If you're interested in learning life lessons as well as how to communicate more effectively as a family, go to Amazon and order Lady Ella's books. They're all there just waiting for you.